So I went foreign language speaking. And one thing that I've noticed about missionaries going foreign language speaking is that they usually have either the gift of tongues or the gift of interpretation of tongues, but they don't usually have both. So you can usually speak really well or not understand, or understand really well and not speak. I've always been good with words, so my problem was understanding. I could say anything I wanted to a point, but I could not for the life of me understand a thing that people said to me. My very first day in the field, we did something we call running in the Houston, Texas South Mission. And basically what that means is that you and all the other new missionaries go out that day and street contact. And I had the privilege to street contact a group of Cubans. And for those of you who speak Spanish, you know that Cubans are really hard to understand, like impossible, especially for a new missionary. And so I got up to them and I was like, "Hi, I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints." And then they started talking to me and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing here?" And the girl who ran me, who eventually became my trainer, she had to step in because I was like, "Help me, I cannot understand what they're saying at all." And I probably had like this, deer in the headlights, like wild-eyed, horrified look. And she just kind of stepped in and talked with them. But I think that every new missionary at first is a little scared. It's a new thing, you're away from home, it's hard. You're doing something difficult, but it is so rewarding, especially I feel like, it's rewarding the whole way through, but I have really fond memories of the beginning of my mission. One thing about the language is that it takes time. A lot of times missionaries get discouraged in their first or second transfers because they feel like they can't understand, therefore they can't be efficient teachers, therefore they can't help anyone. That's not true. I think I had more success in my first 2 transfers as a missionary than I did the rest of my mission. And part of that was because my trainer was one of the best missionaries that has ever served. But part of that is because as a new missionary, when you don't understand the language, you have to really rely on the Spirit. And I had lots of moments and lessons where I was like, "Dear Heavenly Father, we're in the middle of a lesson right now and I have no idea what the investigator just said. Could you please just inspire me to know what I need to say back? Because frankly, they could have said, 'I like spinach,' And he did, always. And it was really good. And you really have to seek for the Spirit when any missionary needs to seek for the Spirit. But I found that when you are trying to speak in a language that is not your own, your need to seek the Spirit turns into like desperation because you just have to. Usually when new missionaries come into the field, they would ask the older missionaries, "How long did it take before you began to understand, before you felt comfortable in the language?" And the answer that I've heard the most, and the answer that I experienced myself, is it takes until about the beginning of your 3rd transfer before you begin to feel comfortable. And that's not true for everyone. There was a girl in my mission who, again, is one of the best missionaries that has ever served. And she struggled with the language for most of her mission. But that did not stop her from being incredibly purpose-driven and effective. I was always really impressed by her obedience, but also, despite struggling with the language, she was just a rock star.